There's something I wanted to speak to. Do you feel like with the state of the world that there was like less excitement to watch a lot of the races this season
Yeah.
for you?
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I was trying to put my finger on what exactly it was. Like I couldn't really focus and pay attention on
Mhm.
on the season this year, on
It's
like
been a
years
few
prior.
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would agree with that.
yeah.
Uh, I feel like it's been a few things. I mean, obviously um, the state of everything and how it is right now.
Hmm.
I mean, it's reflected everywhere. Like people aren't buying anything. People
Yeah.
aren't spending money. People aren't doing any like if you are wealthy, if you have a lot of money, then sure
Hmm.
you're just going on like everything's fine. But a indicator of an economy is not what the wealthy people are doing. It's what the middle class can afford to do,
Hmm.
and it's what they're willing to do.
Yeah.
And now millennials are now like we are the middle class now. Like we are that class. Like I'm
Or
sure there are, I'm sure there's plenty of, millennials out there who are, there's your YouTubers, your Instagram influencers, your tech people, there's plenty of those in our generation that are wealthy. But but honestly, I think that even still in that position, like it's not what they probably had envisioned or what they think they can achieve.
yeah.
And I think that yeah, I think that I think part of the economy and people just not having the bandwidth to watch motorsport as much as they would or not be as enthusiastic about it is one thing, but also I think that, and like I don't like I hesitate to say this just because like a lot of times when it's said, people you get poo pooed on. There's a lot of people that are like, come at you for this, but I do feel like there is a new. It feels like a newer, like I don't want to say breed, like a newer
Mm.
wave of just really negative, ill-informed people on the internet that are part
Mm.
of the fan base now for a lot of motorsports, and it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's one thing to speculate, it's one thing to have opinions on stuff, but like when you don't know your history, or you don't have context to back up your argument that you're trying to make. Like this is specifically in regards to Lando winning the championship,
Hmm.
right? And
Which, by the way, let's just hit it like congrats, dude. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm super
congratulations to
stoked,
that guy.
and
Yeah,
we'll talk about our emotions and after. But yeah, I just wanted to
yeah.
cut that out.
But I think just like I've seen so much discourse about people saying that he's not a deserving champion, that it was like rigged for him, and like they love to do this thing where they're like,
Wow.
oh well, this one thing happened and that's why he won. It's just like, guys, folks, like there are literally like hundreds of little decisions, hundreds of little mistakes like that happened across a course of a season that lead to somebody winning a championship. It's
Hmm.
never one definitive moment. Like even with Lewis Hamilton in 2021, I'm sure there's races he could have performed better at. There's races that Max could have not performed as well at that would have led to a more secure championship.
Hmm.
But that's not how that works. You can't just pick the one moment. Now, obviously, in the moment, you have one moment that's really bad, and that could tip the scale, right? I mean, if it's one big thing that happens, but you cannot blame it all on that one moment alone. You can give it as a contributing factor, like it was a big thing that happened.
Hmm.
And so, but the thing with Lando, and I mean specifically the big rub point, right, was what happened between Lando and Yuki on the straightaway, right? That was like the big moment that everyone was like, well, that's how it was handed to him, right? They're
Mm.
completely ignoring all of the passing that he did. He like passed like Leclerc, and I think it was Leclerc and Russell and Lawson and somebody else, like two cars, same turn, like go
Yeah.
cuts him around the outside. He was putting in a intense championship worthy performance that day on
Mm-hmm.
that track,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And yet people ignore all of that work, and they complain about how he passed Yuki on the outside down the straightaway in Dubai. And it's been analyzed to death. Everyone talks about it. We all understand, like, we should all understand the rules. We should understand why it happened and how it happened. And even in that moment, I was just thinking, I swear, if the FIA gives him a penalty for that,
Mm-hmm.
like, that does not feel right. Especially after, like, I think 2 or 3 laps later, Fernando Alonso does the exact same thing on Kimi Antonelli on the other
Mm-hmm.
side of the track, and there wasn't a single investigation.
Yeah.
And I knew it was because it wasn't because of passing on the outside track. If you get forced out there, there's nothing you can do,
Yep.
right? It was because Yuki swerved multiple times
Yeah.
down the straightaway.
Right.
And you're not supposed to do that. That's dangerous. And he also did it way before the braking zone.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even say that he moved under braking, because they weren't even braking. Like, I think Lando had like maybe 1.5 or so seconds of full throttle before he got to the braking zone after he passed Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
So just a lot of like reactionary opinions, a lot of just really just kind of aggressive attacks. And it just feels like, I mean, obviously there's always going to be some kind of hatred. There's going to be some side of anger towards a particular driver or not. I mean, sure. Like, yeah, I've hurled my fair share of venom at Lance Stroll and Max Verstappen in the past, but at the same time, like, it's not that I'm doing this because, like, I'm saying this based off of conspiracy. It's more or less that there is evidence that I can point to that breaks precedent from the past that
Mm-hmm.
would just using Lance Stroll quickly as a point. There have been so many drivers that have had way better of records than he has in their tenure in Formula One that have lost their drive,
Yeah.
and he's still around. And there's only one answer for that. You can't find another reason. It's not performance. It's because his dad owns the team. It's because he's got the money. I can't, we've had years now. We've had like 8 years, 8 seasons with this guy to determine whether or not that was the case. And I think after 8 seasons in his record and the way that he performs, there's no other explanation.
Yeah, he just hasn't gotten better.
No.
And honestly, he's like plateaued. Anyways, this is not even about Lance Stroll, but
Yeah, no.
but yeah, I 100%, man. This is a really good breakdown of it all. I think what is very frustrating is that people will not look at it's that whole thing where, and we all do it in our own individual lives, I believe, where you have a pile of really, really good things that have happened to you. Let's say they're in the form of logs, right? Like you have all this nice dry firewood, and they all represent something really positive that's happened in your life and or in your day, right, or in your year. And then off to the right, you have this rotten, like waterlogged piece of firewood, and you're just like, oh no, I can't use it. What am I gonna do? And you just hyper focus on it, right, and hyper fixate on it, and you're not able to realize and get past yourself and understand. Oh wait, we're good on firewood. This is great. We've got enough fuel for the night, and we're gonna be okay, right? And I bring that up to say that people are not even thinking about the fact that Lando was locked the hell in since the summer break, right? This guy, honestly, I want to say, and for how everyone talks about Lando's emotions and whatnot, which I think is great that he is very emotional and shows his emotions, right? I think that's it's a very good thing that's needed. That men say like, yeah, I'm just like feeling shaken up, right? I'm feeling frustrated about this. I think that's good. That's really good because there are a lot of men that both you and I know, and not calling on our friends if you guys are listening, not saying it's any of y'all, but like people that we know of or like older people we run into that you're just like, man, you could really, if you just sat down and talked about your emotions, like like I get what you're saying, but the way you're saying it and the actions that you're exhibiting, right, and the things that come across when you're saying this like are really intense. Like try saying it a different way, but no one's thinking about like the fact that he was locked in since the summer. He did a really good job of kind of just staying cool as a cucumber. And the reason I brought up the whole people wearing their emotions on their sleeve is because usually Lando is very much that, but like this back half of the season, he wasn't. He was actually he seemed really cool and
Mm-hmm.
calm, right? He kind of had that Oscar vibe that Oscar had at the beginning of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Oscar, you could kind of see was like kind of like shaken up, and you could see that happening. So,
Yeah.
and that's another thing, right? Like no one's talking about just like the mindset shift, right? That
Mm-hmm.
occurred. It definitely seems that people don't like a champion or like the top dog who is open about their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
People want like a Max Verstappen, right? People
Yeah.
want a Michael Jordan. They want someone who is just cold, like a killer. They go out, boom, job done, go home.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And like that's cool. That's one type. That's one archetype
Mm-hmm.
of like a peak athlete. But Lando is another type of a peak athlete, which I would say is probably in the same boat as Lewis, right? Like I don't know, and even Seb, right? Seb is that
Mm-hmm.
same way. Seb is. I felt like Seb was like somewhere between. I'm saying was as if he's not with us. No, like Seb, like during his driving career, he was somewhere in between Max and Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Where he kind of had like that cold killer vibe to him, but at the same time, like he's also very like you could tell when he would get emotional, right?
Yeah.
Like
No. Yeah.
he
For
didn't hold
sure.
that back, right? So
No. Yeah.
and no one, I don't recall people complaining about Sebastian. I think what I recall is that people were upset that Sebastian was winning every single race,
Mm-hmm.
in title. But all of this is just a dogpile on what you're saying, though. Just that
Mm-hmm.
it's frustrating, right? Like there's context around things. Like, do people not think that like the second place, the second place person in the championship from 17 years ago wasn't that good? No,
Mm-hmm.
they were awesome. It's just that one thing happened. Sometimes it
Yeah.
happens, right? Or it's an
Well.
accumulation of things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at something like what 2000. So 2009, I believe. Uh, ye- um, or maybe it was 2007. The one the championship that Kimi won with Ferrari. Like that entire
7.
season, was it 7? Yeah.
Yeah.
That entire season it was who's going to win between Fernando and
And
Lewis
Lewis,
and
yeah.
McLaren,
Yeah.
right? It was like who's going to win it? Like, they're blah, 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 like they're getting back and forth, right? And then they were basically sabotaging each other, right?
Right.
And then here's Kimi Räikkönen just putting his time in, and
Yep.
like it was basically like it could have been a repeat. This if Max had won, it would have kind of been a repeat of that.
Oh yeah.
Because it was
Yeah.
like McLaren basically sabotaging
Again.
themselves, even though
Yeah.
they were on top, and then letting somebody else come in and win. But it didn't shake out that way, and McLaren is lucky that it didn't. They're very lucky. And I as far as like I think as far as like drivers showing their emotions, and I think like Sebastian definitely had moments where he did that.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely he made some mistakes. I think he and Max are similar in that way, to where Max certainly made a lot of mistakes. He did a lot of crappy moves and got away with a lot of stuff. And I think that I feel like he kind of I think he understands that a little bit more now. Because in the past, at least this past season, it feels like Max is smarter than he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Oscar Piastri figured Max out, and I think Max kind of was shaken a little bit by that, which is why I think Piastri had such a psychological advantage, starting out.
Mm.
And then you have Lando. Lando made plenty of mistakes, and he owned up to them. Like when he ran into Piastri in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Man, yeah, that was my fault. I was stupid." It wasn't like he wasn't trying to blame anybody. He wasn't trying to do the blame game. He just accepted what happened and moved on. And I think that we run the risk of kind of losing some of that, because I think that there's a lot of people who are they're so quick and so ready to hit the blame button and try and point the finger at somebody as being at fault for their lack of performance or their issues. And in reality, it's like you got to look inside, you got to internalize, because it's like it's not always going to be that. It's not always going to be somebody mess with you. It's going to be you made the mistakes and you need to live with those mistakes. So
And
I'm kind
championships
of
are
glad.
messy.
Yeah, they are messy.
Yeah.
And if anything that has reminded us, that's what this season has reminded us, I think, of anything. Because like those max dominance years, like they were messy on the outside,
Right.
but like when it came to being on track, they weren't as messy as they have been, because it was just max dominating everybody. And I will say I'm kind of glad that we're over this year, and I'm kind of ready to try something different with the new regulations and the new teams coming in, and I'm curious to see how this shakes up, because I think that the sport definitely needs a bit of a reset in a way. I think like you're always going to have new fans coming in, and the previous fans, being the dejectors, and claiming like, oh, I was here through the Max era. It's like, sure, yeah, but there were people that were there before you through the Hamilton and the Vettel era, and there were people who were there before us with the Button win, and the Michael Schumacher era and the Fernando Alonso era. Like there were always going to be people that came before, and the best thing that you can do is know your history. Like watch some old races, watch some documentaries, learn about how some of this went down and how these things were perceived by people. Like watch some of the big races that happened. Look into the politics of everything. It's important to know this stuff, because it's like I saw a video today of two kids enthusiastically and confidently saying that the car in front of them while they were driving in the car with their parents was a Nissan R31, and it was clearly a C5 Corvette. And it's one of those things I'm just like, okay, they're kids. I get it. They don't know. But they're so confident in that. And like I remember that childhood confidence where it's like you think you know something, and you're so adamant that you know it, and you have all the confidence because you think you're cool finally, and that you know this thing. But it's like, dude, no.
Yeah.
That's not the correct answer.
Yep.
You'll get there, and I think that there's anything I would hope for is that these new fans who are particularly aggressive are going to look back on this year specifically and think like, well, he made it happen. He did the thing, so who knows? So, hopefully we can all live and, grow and learn.
So there are a few things from what your soapbox there that I really want to dig into. All right.
Yeah.
Number one, McLaren. Number two, Max Verstappen. And number three, well, I'll just say number three real quick. Yeah, you're talking about knowing your history. Like, it blows me away the number of times I'm watching or I'm on like the Formula One subreddit, and there's someone in there saying like, yeah, I know this is how you guys are feeling right now, but trust me, like it is just as dirty and at Formula One today with the politics as it was back then. And these are guys who were watching like during like the Prost and Senna years, and like, even further back, talking like maybe even like Graham Hill days, and I'm just like, oh my God, like you feel okay with Reddit? Like, so shout out to them. But number one, let me talk about Verstappen first. This season has made me such a big Max Verstappen fan. It is crazy. Like, I don't know. I did not expect this. Like, I was rooting for Max. Like, I wanted Lando to win. Like, of the, if we're talking like, who do you want first? Who do you want to come in second? That kind of thing. If it wasn't going to be Lando, I wanted it to be Max. Because Max this year has shown such poise, right? And like all the storm of like Red Bull, right? Like he has been so locked in and has put that
Hmm.
car in places that it just did not belong, right?
Hmm.
And he added like a lot of excitement to this season, right?
Hmm.
He felt like the Grim Reaper just kind of over the shoulders of everybody, right? And actually, I think someone even made a joke about that, right? Zach Brown made a joke like that, like they just keep coming. Like was it Freddy Krueger or something or
Yeah, I
some?
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some horror, some Chucky. It was about Chucky, about him just
Hmm.
always being there.
Hmm.
But man, I really like Max Verstappen, and just he has shown himself to be like one of the greats of the sport. Like just what he was able to do. The fact that he chased down that huge point deficit from summer break to get it to where it was, by season end is amazing. And to see him like see how happy he was for Lando too, like
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
don't hate each other, It's
No.
like yeah, maybe they have like feelings when they're driving, of course, but like at the end of the day, they're all
No.
human beings. They all come up together, like
I think Lando and Max get along pretty well.
yeah,
I think that they're not. I don't think they're enemies at all. I think
yeah.
they're, you know, I think Oscar Piastri, even though
Oscar.
he sort of lost some of his mojo towards the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
I think he still stayed pretty cool. He still had
Mm-hmm.
a pretty cool level head. And I think I mean, it bodes well for him as a driver,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
I think I think next year his relationship with McLaren is really going to be determined on their performance, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be determined on their performance and also just how they treat him.
And that's my next point.
Yeah.
McLaren, I like the words I would give to McLaren right now. Like I'll say congratulations to Lando for winning, and I'm so stoked for him. I love seeing his mom and his dad there. His mom just made me so
Hmm.
happy seeing how hyped she was.
Hmm.
Um, Oscar, hey man, you're close. Keep going. Oscar is like a future multiple champion. Like I can
I
see
think
him
he's got the
winning.
pedigree for it.
He's got it. He's that dude. Um, but McLaren, there's no reason the season should have been this close.
No.
It should have
No.
been it should have been wrapped up. The construction should have been wrapped up forever ago. The drivers' championship should have been wrapped up forever ago. They we talked about this at the beginning of the season, right? That they're coming in with like Ferrari energy, like too big to fail energy.
Hmm.
Like you guys just got back. You cannot be bungling like strategy calls. You cannot be bungling like driver prioritization because at a certain point you have to make the call. And you have to make a decision one way or the other because if you do not, it will come back to bite you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No. I think that McLaren won despite itself.
Yeah.
I think that that car that car being as fast as it
Yeah.
is the reason why. Like it's like if it would be like if a bunch of small kids were in charge of driving a yacht, but the yacht was just so good and so sophisticated that it somehow made it to shore
Yeah.
despite the fact that there were kids aboard trying to run it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like it was that good. Like if you could only imagine what McLaren could have done with that car had they had the Mercedes crew and
Mercedes.
strategy
Yeah.
from the Hamilton era. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just that combination would have been just as unstoppable, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
But yeah, McLaren they were like there was like the spokes. It was like that guy that's on the wheel on the bicycle
And
and
the
he
sticks
sticks the
the-
stick in his
It's like,
trunk
why
and
would
it
they
falls
do this
over.
to me?
Yeah. That was like it was just McLaren and then McLaren with a stick like poking, That's exactly what it was. That was the situation. So
So
yeah.
yeah, speaking of McLaren, um, do you think Lewis is looking at them and just being like, man, because bro, Ferrari, like, because we talked about this, right? We said
We
McLaren
did.
would be a nice return to home.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
the car
Uh-huh.
might be just right. It's a
Yep.
Mercedes PU,
Yep.
but man, he walked into the pizzeria, bro. They said we're all out.
Ferrari is a I mean honestly Ferrari is a they're a tempting prospect.
Oh my
Who does,
god.
especially
Yeah.
Hamilton? I mean, Hamilton grew up with Ferrari, like being
Yeah.
around. Like it was one of like all those drivers from that era. They all wanted to drive for Ferrari because they
Yeah.
grew up
Yeah.
watching Michael Schumacher win, and that was what they wanted to be. But now we're getting some young kids in there who wanna drive for Mercedes. They want to drive for McLaren. They want to
Yep.
drive for
For
Red
Red
Bull.
Bull. Yeah.
You know, that's who they want to be. They want to be in those cars. So, like, I think that Ferrari is starting to lose. Unless they start winning, they're going to start losing their luster.
Yeah, this
That's
is
just what's going to happen.
it's very bad. I think Ferrari's in a do or die moment these next few years. They need to show their value.
Yeah. But you know, anyway, I think that Ferrari, honestly, they've got to do something. They're gonna have to pick up where they left off. They're gonna have to try and recover something because, yeah, I like, you don't like, how is it that you recruit Lewis Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
right, and just drop the ball so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and here, this is what we need to point this out too. There's a lot of people that are like, oh well, you know, Hamilton was a has been, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's blah blah. Dude, the guy finished sixth. He finished sixth.
Yeah.
Leclerc was fifth. The only
Right.
people that beat him were the top three and George Russell. I think that as a Ferrari debut, he couldn't ask for any better than that. I think if it was gonna be a rocky season,
Yeah.
you know, did I want to see Lewis Hamilton get a win? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I think, the first championship driver for Ferrari that hasn't won in his debut season with them.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks. But, you know, I think it's just like there's always room to grow. And I think that he will. I think he'll improve. I think it'll get better. I think if he holds on this next season, if this next season, you know, if it really works out better in the way that we wanted to. But honestly, at some point, I do want to talk about this next season and like what's different,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, maybe throw out some thoughts about what we think is probably going to happen, because these cars are a lot different than
Mm-hmm.
this is. They're saying that this is like one of the bigger regulation changes that we've had in its history, which is saying a lot because we've had some pretty dramatic changes throughout the year, even just in our lifetime that we witnessed. The 2014 shift to the hybrid V6 hybrid engines, that was a huge change. That was massive. But I think what I find kind of fun though is they put out that I think it was a Honda put out the audio for what the new engines are going to sound like, and I had to do a side by side in comparison because I knew exactly what that sound is, because I'm very, very, very familiar with that sound. And anybody who has watched IndyCar for the past, 10 years or so would be very familiar with that sound, because that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a little, the RPMs go a little higher in the F1 car. I like they have a higher RPM, range, but it's still like it's uncanny how identical it is, which honestly I'm not mad at, because those Indy cars sound great, especially live, like right at the track. They're a fun thing to listen to.
Yeah. It's just funny. It's just funny that this is the direction it's going.
I think they need to get. I know it's aerodynamic reasons, but I really wish they would get rid of those wheel covers, like the dust covers on the wheels.
Oh, I think those are gone in 26.
I don't not according to F1. Like all the promos that they're showing with the cars all had the dust covers still on.
I thought for some reason, am I thinking of a different F1 car?
I've seen them without them. They look
model.
so good without them. Here, I'm gonna do.
Maybe
that.
that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe that's what I'm
because
thinking of.
these cars without the covers, it's just like it would just look so cool. Let's see, show me some images.
Yeah, it looks. I'm fairly certain they're gone.
I don't know. I mean, all the promo that I've seen does not, isn't showing it. It's like they're still showing with the covers on. We remember those stupid rain covers that Ferrari demoed that looked like
I forgot about that.
looked like wagon wheels. They were so bad.
Yeah, dude, they're gone.
Are they? Are you sure?
This is from. This is from 4 days ago. This is from 4 days ago from on like the official F1 website.
I'm looking at an image right now. It looks like they're still on there.
What when was this from?
Hold on, let me see what you said.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah, it's from the same.
We're doing real time here.
Hold on a second here. Why is it? Stop playing a video. I just want to see the images. It's showing a video and all these dark images. I'm not seeing any of the actual sides of the wheels. It almost looked like they had transparent covers because it almost looks like they still have like something on there.
Like for the aero wash? Wait, you know what? I might be mixing things up here. You're talking about like the water covers on the front wheels, right?
No, I'm talking about the dust covers over the sides. Here, I'll send you.
Well, okay, yeah, there we go. We're talking two different things. Sorry, because I was gonna say like, yeah, no, like we're looking at the same thing, right? And so, yeah, that's my fault.
Georgia jungle, watch out for that tree. All right, it's not okay. I'm not gonna mess with this right now. Yeah, well, in any case, they're doing what we asked them to do, right? They're making them smaller. They're making the cars smaller.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that much smaller though. It's like it is smaller,
Yeah.
but they're still pretty big compared to what they have been at in the past. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but we'll see how this one shakes out. These are definitely going to be slower than they were last year because that's always how that goes. And people forget that too. It's just like what I said, like not remembering your history. Like when the cars came in 2014, they were definitely slower than where they were. And it took them about a year, and then they were like way faster, was like insanely fast. And there are definitely like I do kind of miss some of those cars from that from the Hamilton era. They just look so bad, dude, in good way.
Like the 2014, Mercedes. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, like I mean, even past that, I think even like the 2016, 2015 cars looked really good. And honestly, I think these cars look pretty cool. I think the front wing, it definitely is very 2008 coded. Like a lot of the front wing looking the way that it does, as curvy as it is, like, it's pretty sweet. I'm pretty excited how what this is gonna do. But the real question is, who do you think is gonna make a surge next year?
I would say Aston Martin should be one to look out for next year.
Okay.
I feel like Honda is on it, right? I feel like Honda will be on top of it. And them being the engine supplier for Aston Martin, and they seem to have a really nice relationship with Honda. And then you have Adrian Newey over there.
Yeah.
He's been focused on that, right? So I feel like,
well, now he's team principal.
yeah. So
Which is crazy.
Wait, did I miss this? Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He is the team principal of Aston Martin next year.
Oh, that's a big deal. Where have I been?
It's not that he doesn't have experience doing it. He has experience being a team principal in a team. He's done that before. He did that in IndyCar for like Mario Andretti.
Wow.
So like he has some experience in that realm. But yeah, that they went with Adrian Newey.
Okay. This was November. Dude, where have I been the last 4 weeks?
I don't know,
I've
man.
just. This is what I mean. Like, I don't know if we were. Did we mention this while we were recording that we were talking about maybe not paying as much attention to F1 because of everything going on? But maybe this is
Well,
one of
we
those things that
talked.
probably slipped through the cracks.
Well, we talked about we briefly talked about like just having a hard time following the races as closely.
Yeah.
And I do feel like sometimes we get constricted talking about this only, and it's like
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to talk about some other stuff, you know. And then I
Yeah.
think that was like why we wanted to do that rebrand, you know, a bit ago, and how we ended up reverting back from that. I think that was just because like it was just easier to have F1 or F off, and but now I'm almost at this point where I'm thinking like, you know, maybe what we should do is just like, I don't know, maybe we should, and I know we've talked about this on the side, like maybe we should, you know, start a new podcast where it's like not F1 related. And then, you know, so we can just feel like we can just talk what we want to talk. And then when we want to specifically talk about F1 or F off, we can, or Formula One, we can jump onto this and just do that, you know, just put out your occasional episode, you know, talking about F1 when some big stuff happens, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we can do whatever we want, you know, this is our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, to go back to hit your question though, like I think Aston Martin is definitely one you want to watch out for next year. I feel good about them. I'm excited to see what Cadillac does. I'm very excited about that. Williams, I'm excited about because they had such a good season this year.
That's what I was going to say.
Honestly, I think I gotta say Williams might be my favorite team. I just love watching them.
Yeah. Everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah,
especially-
Williams is fun to watch. I've always liked Williams, even when I started watching back in like
Yeah.
2014, 2015
Same. Yeah, same. Yeah.
Just like the colors were really nice, and
The only-
like Massa and Bottas. Then it was cool. It was cool.
Well, yeah. The only thing is, I didn't like Pastor Maldonado at all. But
Pastor
I did,
Maldonado.
but like I did like that when they brought Bruno Senna on for a brief period.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2013. Like when he left, when I think it was him and Maldonado left, and they took Felipe Massa back on, I thought that was a smart decision. I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of person you want to have, you know, rebuilding your team. But yeah, you know, they were back markers for a really long time, and they've put in a lot of work in order to get back up to fighting for podiums like they did with Sainz this year. So,
yeah.
and apparently Sainz is pretty happy about it. He feels pretty vindicated with his choice to move. And I think really that is solely based on, I think that he more or less has pretty much outperformed
Albon. Yeah.
Albon, but he's also outperformed Ferrari on a few occasions.
Oh yeah.
In the Williams. So I think it's worth. I think they're definitely ones to. Optimistically, if I had a choice, I would say I'd like to see Aston Martin, Williams, and honestly Ferrari taking over the mantle, fighting for stuff next year.
Yeah. Let's yeah. That'd be nice. That would be nice.
I don't think we're gonna see anything concrete until we're at least 3 or 4 races in. I think then it will come to the forefront. We'll see like, oh yeah. Okay, they're dominating this year already. So unless we get a 2012 situation where the first 7 or 8 races are completely different drivers from completely different teams, that would be amazing.
Man, what a season, right?
That season was nuts.
How exciting would that be? That also gave us the excellent gif of Fernando Alonso just like, with this with his visor up, he's just like staring off in the distance, just like heavily breathing, right? And, like, oh man, you can see like.
Yeah, I remember that season was so crazy. Just every race, it seemed like the first 8 races, I think, were completely different drivers. Here, hold on, I can pull it up. If you haven't been on F1's statsf1.com,
oh,
ever,
what a good site.
You really need to jump on that site because this site is incredible. Yeah. So okay, so the first let's see, where do we go here? So So we had One, two. Okay, so the first race was won by Jenson Button, McLaren. Second race was Fernando Alonso and Ferrari. The third race was Nico Rosberg with Mercedes. The fourth race was Sebastian Vettel with Ferrari. And then the fifth race was Pastor Maldonado in the Williams. And then the sixth race was Mark Webber in the Red Bull. And then the seventh race was Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren. It wasn't until you get to race 8 where you have Fernando winning a second, like for the second time that year. The first 7 races were different drivers and different constructors. Like,
dude, insane.
That's insane. And Pastor Maldonado having that freak win for Williams was so crazy. It was so crazy. Man. And then you have Sebastian Vettel right at the end of the season. He wins 4 in a row. And then it's just like, well, okay, yeah, I guess that's done with, you know? Yeah, what a crazy start to a season. That was one to remember for sure. That was a crazy season.
And also that capped off Seb's fourth, right?
Yeah. Because 2013, no, 2013 was his fourth. That was his last season.
Oh, you're right. Because 2009
he dominated.
Won.
He won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 races that season. And he won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He won 9 of those races consecutively.
Dude.
From the 11th race to the last race, he won all of them.
My God.
Like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Then there's Lewis Hamilton in his era, just 2014, just completely dominant. 2015, 2016, Nico just eked that one out. And it was only because Lewis had one more DNF than Rosberg did.
Yeah, and they came. Yeah, that was a reliability issue that year, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it is fun. The statsf1.com is excellent.
There's so much stuff.
It's so good.
The reason why I popped up on this too is because I want to do that thing that I did last year, where I run the F1 points, or run the F1 results through the IndyCar points, because I feel like this year in particular there could be a mix. There could be a change of results between Piastri and Norris and Verstappen if we go off of the IndyCar results. But yeah, no. Also, man, oh my God, yeah, like Max in 2023, he only lost 3 races.
Yeah. When you look at that 23, dude, yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. It's
so insane.
It's sick, dude.
Holy crap!
Like that gap.
2023 car was nuts.
And even that gap between Verstappen and Perez, like, woo, man, 575 to 285, not even close, dude.
Is it? It's funny. Like if you look at 2024.
Oh,
you literally have you have 3 drivers there that like did not even complete a full season because of Red Bull. Like, you know, so like, well, their sergeant got kicked out half, like 3/4 of the way through the season. Doohan only competed in 1 race. You had Lawson is the last half of the season because he takes over Ricardo, because Ricardo didn't completely finish.
Yeah.
They had like so many people contested 2024 at different points. There were, 24 different drivers that did. Some of these old names too, Nick DeVries.
Like, who is that?
Who's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nico Hulkenberg just did a couple of races in 22. Nikita Mazepin did nothing. Robert Kubica did 2 races and still.
Dude.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. Wow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that at least for. I think I'm at least gonna calculate the points for Lando, Max, and Piastri, just because I would really like to know because like the IndyCar points, right? That you get a point if you lead a lap, and you get 2 bonus points if you led the most laps.
Yep.
And their points are different. So they go from 50 to 40, 35, 32, 30, 28, 26, 24, 22, 20, 19, all the way down to position 24, and then everybody past under 24 gets 5 points. So I think like even with like a DNF from or like a last place finish from some of the other drivers might, award enough points to shift the tide, because it was really, really close. So I'm probably gonna spend some time doing that, and then next time we do a re-record an episode, I'll give my results.
No, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, because we definitely got to give a preview too for the 26 season. I'm excited to see these liveries on this new car, because I have no idea, right? I'm sure they're making like last minute adjustments.
Isn't somebody? I think who is it? Somebody is revealing theirs at the Super Bowl.
Oh, is it probably would it be
Who is
Cadillac?
I think it's Cadillac. Yeah. I think it's Cadillac. I think Cadillac is they're releasing their livery at the Super Bowl, which should be fun. But like we always forget, like Audi is going to be there now because like Sauber is no more.
Yeah, Cadillac will do that. Yeah, you know what's funny? Because we're talking all about like Aston Martin and Williams and Ferrari. Look out for them. I'm not hearing. There's like no buzz around Audi.
Not really. No.
There's more buzz around Cadillac, and maybe I'm sure go over to Germany, it might be a little different. But like, I don't know.
I mean, it could be deliberate. They're not. I don't think they're doing a whole lot of press. So it could just be them kind of hunkering down, just trying to like, just put the pedal to the metal and just like make it happen.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think Audi is. It's funny, like Audi and Porsche, like those are two teams that like they know what they're doing when they get into a motorsport scene, right?
Yeah.
Like Porsche and Audi have done so many amazing things with endurance racing and like WEC stuff. Like even though Ferrari now is dominating in WEC, or they're doing really, really good in WEC, it's just none of that seems to be translating over to their Formula One efforts. But
yeah,
man, I hope that, I think if there's anything that I'm really hoping for this coming year is I really want to see a Lewis Hamilton win. If at the very least,
just
even
to win.
if he's not competing for the championship, I just want to see him get at least a couple of wins in there. I want him and Leclerc to ruffle some feathers.
Dude, poor Leclerc. Poor Leclerc.
I know.
See, it's so funny because like we were talking about Ferrari earlier. We were saying, oh man, it's so sad how he can't. You don't bring in a 7-time world champion and treat him this way. You'd hope that the team would be ready for his arrival, right? And poor Charles, who's just sitting there, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, this is just what it is, man."
Yeah, right.
He's like, "Don't know what to tell you."
Been this way the whole time.
Yeah, because I mean, he came from Sauber, right? He came from yeah. He went from Sauber to
it
Ferrari.
Was technically Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo. Yeah. Alfa Romeo 2 years he was there for 2 years, right? And then gets up to Ferrari, and he's just been like abused, right? Like he's just so used to how poorly things go that he's not faced, like that's not good. And I feel bad. I really wonder, when will Charles Leclerc leave Ferrari, if ever? Because he was like, honestly, I can't see him in another team. I can't.
It's
like
tough because
he's the Ferrari boy.
He has an emotional attachment to Ferrari because it was the dream of his godfather Jules Bianchi. And he's there, and he's come close a couple of times, right?
To a championship?
Yeah, he was competing with Max for a couple of years there, right? Like he's whiffed the being in the fight with Ferrari, but
I feel like,
it just hasn't completely. It hasn't completely stuck.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the constructors and the championships. The closest shot he had was 22. Yeah,
but 24, he had a few races in there, but yeah, 22 he was fighting with him. But that was funny though. It's like 21, 22. Nah, he was like 2020. Yeah, it's like nowhere to be found. But then yeah, there you go. I mean, he finished second in 2022.
Yeah.
And like even then, he's been pretty much in the top 5 ever since. You know. So I think Leclerc is. It's funny that like Norris got this championship before Leclerc did, because I think everyone was expecting that Leclerc was going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's always funny too with like Russell. I'm sure Russell feels like his due. He is owed his due.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, nah, man. Like you gotta get in line. There's like 3 or 4 other guys that have been in this sport for longer than you have that are like, when is my time gonna get here? And then there's like Fernando Alonso, just like, I want to see what next year's car drives like. I want to see if it's fast. If it's fun and I enjoy it, then I will stay. Like, I will only leave if I'm bored. Threw a little Mr. Kakashka in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely thought him more like Mr. Kakashka.
Oh, Lance! Oh,
Arnold
again. Oh, sorry, Lance. Maybe your dad will buy you a new car next year. Ha 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 ha. Oh, Lance. Lance, you have to turn right when the road goes right. And then if it goes left, you have to turn left. That's how you drive. That's how I win. Ha 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 ha.
It's like spot on. Oh man, I love this character, man. Hey Arnold, that
you
show.
You keep the money.
Yeah.
That was the key phrase. It's a thing. I think, what is it like? I don't know if like millennials and Gen Z have this thing where it's like audio stimulations, like just like sounds that you'll hear that are like rent free in your brain forever. Mm-hmm. That one is one of them. Mr. Kakashi going, "You keep the money." No, you keep the money. Say it again. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
so actually looking at Kakashka, apparently in the show he was 38.
Huh. Yeah, I guess that tracks. Yeah.
Wow.
He seemed like he was like, almost 40, like kind of in his I always assumed they were like kind of in their late 30s, early 40s. But yeah, I think I get a feeling that this might be Fernando Alonso's last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is he's going to want a taste of these cars. He's going to want to know how they drive. And I think if he's not having fun and it's not exciting for him, then he's
done.
Yeah. But if Aston Martin starts winning again and he's up in the podium, he'll stay.
Oh, he's staying. Honestly, I could see him being there until he's in his 50s, dude. Honestly.
I mean, nowadays, yeah, you look at guys like Scott Dixon and like Will Power in IndyCar. It's like those guys have been around for a long time. Like it's funny how in American motorsport, the guys will like, there are drivers that will be into their 50s and they'll still be racing. I mean, Mario Andretti was into his 50s and he was still competing for the 500. You have Helio Castroneves. He's trying to get 5 Indy 500 wins and he's in his 50s. So I think it can be done, especially now. I think that I feel like we're getting to the point where we're under like the understanding of human anatomy and particularly aging and growth. I think is at this point now where people are able to do more athletic things further into their older age than they were before. And with motorsport, there's not a lot of, you're not doing a lot of movement. It's endurance, it's resistance, right?
I mean, it's also twitch,
well, there's
twitch
reaction
reactions,
time. Yeah, there's reaction time. There's, there's a lot of that happening still, and like reflexes for sure. But, I feel like it doesn't have to do with like physical strength or, speed. It's more of just being able to handle a vehicle and like be able to handle the repetition of it. So yeah, I mean, it's possible that Fernando could, and Lewis even could drive into their 50s if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. The only real question is whether or not it'll be worth it for them, like whether or not they want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I feel like I could imagine. Here's my question. In the past, a lot of times retired drivers would come back and they would start their own team. Like Jackie Stewart tried it with Stewart F1. Prost had Prost F1. Who else? There were certain drivers, like certain drivers would come back and be like, they would do like
Niki Lauda, right?
Involved with the team.
Yeah,
you look like Niki Lauda.
Coming Marco, Helmut Marco.
So it makes me think, like, who is the next driver that is going to come back and try and either run a team or start a team with their own name?
I could see Albon doing that at some point in the future. He seems like he's got the right material for that.
I think
I could see Carlos doing that.
Yeah, I could possibly see Carlos. I don't know if Hamilton would.
I don't see it. No, I mean, he's already got Mission 44. He's doing a lot of work there, right? So
yeah. Maybe George Russell. I don't know. The other question is, who is going to show up as a commentator in a few years?
Oh man, it'd be so funny to have Max on as a commentator.
It would be funny. I don't think he would do it, but it would be funny.
I could see Hulkenberg being a commentator.
I could see Hulkenberg doing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see Hulkenberg doing it. I could see. I actually could see Albon doing it as well.
Mm-hmm. I think Gasly would come back to be a part of a team.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, like kind of putting in some,
but not Ocon.
Oh, you know who's gonna do it? I bet you know who's gonna do it. Lance Stroll
would come back to be a part of the team. Really?
Well, yeah, he'll just take over. I bet you he'll just take over whatever team his dad runs when he's done. When he's like, I don't want to race anymore. Like, they'll probably carry on the team for a few years, and then he'll just come in like, oh, Lance Stroll is the team principal of Aston Martin. Whatever. 6-7 Racing or something.
So actually, in all seriousness, I don't see that. I don't know.
No.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't see him being part of it. Like, I feel like he would just go off and do other racing series if he wants to. But I feel like Max would just go away. I feel like people who don't want to do any racing or anything like this afterwards, Max is going to go away.
Yeah, I think if Max doesn't win next year, if he doesn't even come close to winning next year, I think he's just going to leave. He'll just be like, yeah, I'm going off to sports car racing now because that's what I want to do because that's what I have fun doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, I feel like if McLaren treats Piastri pretty bad, he'll probably Max Verstappen, okay, next year, kind of late towards the season, announces his retirement. Who's replacing Max Verstappen? Oscar Piastri. Taking that seat.
Yeah.
I just like I feel like I can see it happen.
I can see it.
I can see like Norris getting all the preferential treatment, Piastri being really mad that he's not getting the treatment, and then just being like, oh, I just took a lucrative deal with Red Bull. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, who's going to partner, Lando and McLaren? And, I don't know, maybe it'll be somebody surprising that takes that seat. I don't know, maybe Antonelli moves there. Who knows? Maybe Lewis Hamilton doesn't have a good season in Ferrari and switches back to McLaren for his hoorah, even though he said he was going to be done with Ferrari. So who knows, man? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. But this is also not the Red Bull of old, so it's a different team. It's a different team. So,
alrighty. Yeah. Well, that's I see a decent catch up for everything that we've missed. I'm honestly, it's weird to say that I'm more excited about the IndyCar season starting up than I am the F1 season to start.
I mean, no. You got that dope Indy 500 shirt on.
Indianapolis.
Yeah. No, I think, it's a good year. It's going to be a good year for racing, right? Yeah. Got some new regs in F1.
Yeah.
IndyCar looks exciting.
Yeah.
Got some rally racing starting soon. Yeah, we'll be good. Yeah. We eating good.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening to F1 or F Off. You can always get to us at anywhere you get your podcasts at F1 or F Off. You can also contact us on our social medias at F1 or F Off podcast. Leave us a message, leave us a whatever you got. Let us know how you're doing, how you feel about everything. and we'll get back to you when we can.
Peace.
Peace.